Sorry about that. Fuck. Okay. And now I said a swear word in the first 7 seconds. 7 minutes. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's just jump right into where we left off because I want to finish all of the Hex altcoins. So this is going to be part two for those that only joined part two. I got a little bit interrupted. So sorry about that. Yeah, we want Bitcoin to come retest these lower levels. This will obviously mean a little bit downside for all the altcoins, including X. But we don't know where the stop is. We can still come back and retest the high of this 25 area and then come down. We obviously need a weekly close above 2,500 for this to be confirmed. That's definitely in the possibility. So just break above this and continue to the upside. And then, I don't know, the market is incredibly weird. So, I mean, with inflation being sticky, with the Fed just going to continue rate hiking throughout this week, yeah. So my bias is to the downside, and we all have biases, right? I want to reaccumulate more hex. Obviously, I want to see that pull back at least to the 61.8. But there are a lot of people sitting on the sidelines and waiting to get back in, which is a little bit concerning, as the risk is to the upside, as people have missed this. So if this is not the same as the 2017 bull run, which we had just a up only and then into the COVID dump, or we might just see a repeat of the 2015 bull market, where we would be in this area right here. This one or this one. We came down to retest these lows, which then held, and off we went. Okay, we are technically in a bull season. This needs to continue to the upside to tell us that Bitcoin has bottomed. This is the dominance. So let's get into our ecosystem coins. We will start off with Hex. Just incredibly powerful. I mean, this is for this RSI to come up. It's gonna lead. This can destroy this bearish divergences that we have here if this RSI just continues to go up. But we would need a mega pump for that to happen, right? But this chart is so bullish because this is a break of structure, right? Unless this is in play back here, the 8.7 cents. This could be because just remember this is a trading range, right? We've been hitting the top here once actually. So this can actually be the range over here. And we had this range here, and then we came down to retest it down here. Wherever this stops out, right? It's going to be at 8.5 cents, and I mean, like I have a 15-year staking ladder, right? But I still have some cash that I didn't deploy into the market because I thought this was going to be a long season, right? A long accumulation phase. It still doesn't mean we can't come down and retest these lower levels. But I mean, the first fib level is at 13. It's so far away. And to the 50% at 26. I mean, X has so much upside, and we've talked about these things for so long, right? But the only thing is, generally, as a granny investor, what you wait for is you wait for the asset to bottom, right? You wait for it to break the downtrend, and we've broken that downtrend a long while ago, right back here. You then have to wait for a W on the other side of the downtrend. Now, a valid W has two higher lows. So this is a valid W. These two are higher lows. So this is a confirmed W, and it's only confirmed when you break above this swing high over here. Now, do you guys see a large W on this chart? We had a bottom here, but this was a new bottom here. So this is the opposite of a valid W. You see these? Now, these are just buyers defending their initial buy, right? So these are new buyers that stepped in over here. So we need to come down to retest those buyers. But if whatever the asset does not give you that opportunity, then that's that. You can't, there's simply nothing you can do about it. Let's say Pulse Chain runs this up all the way, I don't know where, right? And you get the buy the rumor, sell the news event, and this creates your cycle bottom like this, maybe. Because we just know that there is going to be the buy the rumor, sell the news event when Pulse Chain eventually does come out. I mean, this is technically a break of structure, which is bullish. We've broken out of this 7 cent area. Yeah, I mean, we're not oversold on the weekly as of yet at all. But this is high. I mean, we haven't even, this is hidden bearish divergence. You see the RSI is quite still low here on the weekly, and it's rallied up past that. So price is going higher. I'm at a loss for words what is going on here. Because this is technically a breakout, but you do, back to the W, right? You do have this small little W on the weekly back here. That was enough to like give us this massive expansion over here. What I'm just worried is that this is a buy the rumor, sell the news event for. And now remember, I was bullish down here, so please don't give me any shade, right? And I streamed it live when we broke out of the Ishimoku cloud. So yeah, at this point, we do have bearish divergences on the daily from all the way back down here. So this just shows a little bit of an exhaustion from here. We're still lower, but this RSI is picking up some speed as we are breaking out violently, right? Yeah, so at the end of the day, this is not the time to get in front of this thing. I mean, this can do some ridiculous things. We can be in bearish divergences for quite a long time. We've broken out of structure back here. We haven't created the greatest base. We have this cute little W down here, and then inside of a larger W on the daily. So there is technically some structure down here. Good market structure, good higher lows, and we have a breakout of that level. What else can we do? We can see where the volume was traded during this move, and most of the value, believe it or not, was traded here at 2.5 cents. And if you pair that up with your Fibonacci retracement level, I mean, that's a long way down. But this is why you don't chase up here, right? I was bullish down here. This is where you should have been bullish. You shouldn't be bullish up here and chasing up here. It can still go and double from here, but I like buying assets cheap. But this is your warning. This is your first warning that this asset is primed to do really, really well in the next cycle. Right? It has performed incredibly well. How many waves do we have here? And there's no way anyone can still be bearish on this thing. One, two, three. So the third wave should be the longest. Let's measure that on percentages. The fifth wave cannot be more than the second wave. Yeah, so this is a valid 3 count. Yeah, so if you are interested in this coin, getting it here, I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply what I do. This is technically the no split section up here. We are oversold. We have bearish divergences at the top. I know it's hard for those that have missed this to see things goes like this, but you need to wait for it to come back. I really don't care about there's 2.2 million hex. You can see it on the right here. Let me see if I can highlight it behind my head. Pooled hex, 28 million hex, 2.2 million. Liquidity total is 7.4, which means 5.2 is sitting in buy orders down here. I mean, this is where you should be interested, down here, not up here. You can see W's, the W formed here on the RSI at the bottom. What's the opposite of a W? An M, right? You see this massive M here. Just M's everywhere, unless this goes higher. And it is probably going to go much higher from here and just get all of these people to FOMO buy that has left in this area. And that is how markets work. They take the most money from the most amount of people. But at this point, like I have a very small percent, less than 5% of my portfolio to invest. I'm either going to go into hex or I'm going to do the granny style of investing again, but it's a little bit more work, but it is a little bit of content. Yeah, so okay, so I think that is hex. We can cover hex ratios if you guys want to look at that. Let's look at the ratios from a granny style of investing. So we've broken the downtrend. I don't know how accurate this OBV is, but technically there is still volume interested in this coin. Now, the reason I say that I'm not sure about this is because Hex trades mostly on decentralized exchanges, right? So I just pulled up some divergences. So there was an unbalanced volume divergence here. Some bearish divergences on the weekly. So the next thing you look for, downtrend has been broken. You're looking for an asset that is down a lot, and it's down a lot. Now you start looking for weekly W's. And if we put on the line chart, there are no weekly W's. This is a V bottom. Cryptos don't like V bottoms. And just to show you guys, you see these W's down here? This is what you're looking for. Now, was this? Yes, this was in fact a valid W. This was last season, right? You have your big payday dump here. You even made your small W and off you went. Do we have that weekly W now? We do not have that. This is a V bottom, right? So V bottoms like to get retested to the downside. Now I'm trying to get this as unbiased as possible. We can go over other altcoins to see that I don't really have a bias. Just looking for good market structure. I mean, this can take off, and I don't see that happening. I mean, it must come down to do a retest. Either we keep on going and then we do a major correction back to these breakout levels, or we do a correction soon and create good market structure. With X versus, let's show you guys the W on this side. You can see the W here. We put on the line chart. There's even a small W within this larger W, and off you went. Here we do not have a valid W. This is a V bottom. This leg was lower than this one. Weekly divergence on the RSI, but it's pretty much, it's still in play. Yeah, I mean, on the weekly, it still doesn't look bearish. All we can do is, if you've missed this, you need to wait for it to come down to these levels. And remember, it can go higher and higher and higher, and you just readjust your box as the price goes higher. Or you can FOMO in now and the market turns on you and then you're underwater. But that's the risk you're willing, you need to take. And you make your own decisions, right? So we've covered HEX versus BTC and ETH. The dominance chart, we had divergences, we have a break of the downtrend. We do not have a W on the other side of the chart. Unfortunately, right, all of this is the same. This is a V bottom. That was pretty much too hard. But it's not bearish for me to say that I want a higher low. This is incredibly bullish. The fact that you want a higher low. This just shows that the buyers are defending their initial purchases, right? Okay, so enough of X for now. Let's cover Hedron first. Let's remove the Ishimoku. Let's remove everything. Okay, I'm rallying a little bit here. On the overall scheme of things, you are within the golden box. This is where your long-term investors start putting in small percentages of their overall portfolio into coins. If we go onto the daily and see if we're oversold yet, we're not oversold. We're literally trending in the middle of the range. We do have a weekly W? Let's put on the line charts. Okay, we do have a weekly W. You can see it there. This has now played out. Not as oversold as I would like the market to be. Let's go on the shorter time frames. We still haven't gotten into the reload zone. I think this wants to go a little bit lower. Your Wyckoff check is down here. Exactly where we found support, actually. We're down 65% from the top. This isn't like you're buying an asset. I mean, X is still more undervalued than this. Let's pull up the volume traded to see where most of the buying happened. Up here, actually. What I would like to see is I want this to get nice and oversold so we can get a reset on this market. We've been oversold. We haven't come down all the way down. Maybe get this at the 61.8. Yeah, so you're going to be having these overlapping. But anyway, at the end of the day, on the larger time frame, Hedron has some value here. And then when we get down to these levels down here, this is 1717. This is going to be strong support as these reload zones are overlapping each other. No retest until the test net wears off, yes. I'd rather FOMO into PHEX once the ratio to PLS is crazy. Yeah, I'm just, there's definitely going to be a hell of a sell-off during the launch for Hex because everybody is buying Hex now. I mean, why not? It's probably better to buy some Icosa or Hedron if you have dry or liquid left during the before we know that Pulse Chain, the mainnet, is going to be launching. If Hex still looks like this, so overextended that it is, because probably Hedron, because Hedron still has a lot of liquidity that's going to be copied to the other side. So I'd rather buy Icosa or Hedron if I want dry liquid for to deploy on the other side. Because the price of Hex is just going to be slaughtered. Yeah. People are already speculating now, and I don't want Richard Hart to give a heads up before the launch, because just imagine how much buying pressure Hex is going to experience before that, and the selling that's going to happen after that. So it's going to be an incredibly dangerous game to play, to speculate on Hex to sell on the other side. Because they're going to sell the other side into Pulse Chain, and they're going to sell their EHEX side into stable coins, and then head over to the other side to buy more. Yeah, so it's going to definitely experience a lot of buying pressure. This is why get this rally out the way now, right? Let the price reset, get all of those speculators irritated once again with Richard Hart and the fact that it's taking so long. Let them capitulate and then launch Pulse Chain when we come back to retest these lows. And me saying a retracement, it's not bearish. It's incredibly bullish to get a healthy retest, right? I was bullish down here. I keep repeating myself, but I was bullish down here when we broke out, right? I just want a healthy retest in these areas, right? Defend this market structure that you've created here at 3 cents. I mean, a retest to these levels and a support found, and off we go. I mean, because at the end of the day, this is going to take us much higher if we just, instead of from here just going 50%, right? Or even up to these $30, 30 cents areas. Otherwise, you're going to come back from 30 cents and you're going to come back all the way to the lows, right? Rather create this healthy price structure now, because this is a V bottom. Especially on the weekly, this is a V bottom. We had the sneaky little W down here. But this might just translate into a, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Hedron versus Hex. So this is the ratio between Hedron and Hex. I said on Twitter back here, this was the 20th of Feb, that there's a little bit momentum running out, right? So this is bullish divergence at the bottom here. We can see price going down, straight line, but we do have the indicators that are making higher lows. So this first one here, divergence there, just pull it up. And not only that, we are incredibly oversold. We haven't been this oversold on Hedron versus Hex pair since Hedron made it stop, right? So if you were interested in, yeah, I shouldn't say that. No one was interested. If you were selling Hedron up here when this ratio was this overexposed, you're looking to buy back down here, right? Because this is showing you that the momentum is running out on this. It hasn't turned yet, but it is starting to run out. Then we have another divergence from there to there, from here to here. But this hasn't been confirmed yet, right? This needs to turn around. But this initial bullish divergence has been confirmed. Because you need, you see this W down here. If the higher low, the higher high gets broken, it's confirmed, right? So what this means, if we're looking at the Hex versus Hedron chart, either Hedron is going to go up in value, or Hex is going to go down in value, or yeah, there's a lot of different things that can happen. So X can go down on value, Hedron can go up in value, but this just means a reversal in this. Now you can only take this trade when we have a W on the daily chart, a higher low. So what I'm saying in short is momentum is starting to run out. Hex Hedron pair has been pretty much destroyed. If we look on the long term, you're pretty much buying the bottom of this chart, but no one is going to be swapping you. No one in retail or small investors are swapping their Hex for Hedron here because they're like, Hedron has no value, it's over, the God whale pulled its liquidity, like all of the bearish narratives you're gonna get here, when in fact this is where you should be buying, right? So no one's gonna be buying here. I'm not telling you to go out and do that, right? I'm just giving you my perspective. You can see these W's down here, small W within a larger W. This can come down to the 88.6 level all the way down here. Let's pull up where volume was traded. All the way from the back up here. Look at that. This is the control point. So most value was traded back here. And don't be surprised if it comes and trades back in the future in this level. Yeah, although it's not a go just yet, the Hedron and Hex pair is incredibly undervalued. And this is in fact where value is at, is on this pair. But everybody's chasing the X price right now. But that's how markets work. No one is looking at these things, where value is at. All of them are looking at those juicy green candles and like, yeah, I want some of that shit. No one's looking at these red candles. They're looking at this and like, ew, this is over. I doubt the price will go down, only if another bug is found specifically on testnet. Yeah, I mean, testnet is so close. That's not all what I'm saying is. I'm saying that some whales could easily have used this opportunity, the speculation and the news that we're getting to push up the price, right? Because you're not getting your double now. You're getting your double when mainnet releases, and we have no idea how long mainnet is going to be taking. Right? Look where Hex launched. If we're talking about timing the market, right? Hex launched here in December. Over here. Let's use the text box. January, December. So Hex launched over here, right? we are currently here in this cycle. Where's the breakout level? We're here. So if you're talking about timing the market, this is where he timed the launch of Hex, right? Just before the dump. By here, you're confirmed that the bull market is underway. And the altcoins only start freaking out over here. This is where the alt season happened last year. Or last cycle. So you're pretty much in no man's land up here. If you're talking about, yeah, at the end of the day, there still needs to be testing that happens. Richard Hart says he does not like beta testing people's stuff, and we shouldn't want to beta test people's stuff as well. Let's have a good month or 2 months of testing. And are you really telling me that Hex can stay up here for? I mean, it can go a lot more. I'm not denying that at all. But there will be a pullback. Either we get the pullback before mainnet, or this just continues straight into version or straight into mainnet, which I would say that mainnet would have to be very close on version 3 for you to continue having this pump. The market becomes exhausted eventually. And we have, on the back of that, we have the macro turning bearish. Now, I don't like being bearish with something that I am literally more than 95% of my portfolio is in a staking ladder in Hex, right? So, okay, let's go on to Hedron. This is Hedron on the daily. We're not really oversold yet. This is a new low. We came right into the 61.8, and I'll draw that up again after we pull up the volume. So most of the volume has been trading here. This is the golden zone. We've seen that we've pulled back into this area. This is where value is at for Icosa. We're not oversold yet, so I expect a little bit more downside. We didn't have good market structure down here. We had like a small little W and off we went. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come back to retest this 34-cent area, maybe just a week into it. We do have bullish divergences on the stochastic, it seems. Okay, so Icosa not in value just yet. We've been popping our head in this area twice already now. RSI not oversold yet, so it can go a little bit lower. Let's look at Icosa versus Hex. So this is Icosa versus Hex. We had these bullish divergences, very oversold, right? We're in the area where you should be interested in taking a long on Icosa versus Hex. This was a new low. We had this nice bullish divergences, but it has now broken it. It's made a new low on the RSI. But either way, Icosa is very valuable versus Hex down here. We can maybe go a little bit lower still and create another W down here with higher lows, and that's pretty much a go, right? This is where you should have been interested in swapping your Hex for Icosa. But, I mean, I know people are scared accumulating at the bottom of the ranges, but this is where you should be interested, right? And if I was a little old lady or a granny style, I mean, we haven't even broken the downtrend. But maybe risk like 1% of my portfolio here, and when it doubles at 16.6, this is this area over here. This is where you will have your first double. you can just sell half of your Icosa into Hex, and then you have a free Icosa position. But it's impossible to catch. It's actually not impossible, but it's scary to catch falling knives. So what you should wait for is higher lows and then a break of this level, wherever that comes in. The Hex pullback can be so quick that you miss it. That is why you need to set limit orders. You can see on Hex, on this shorter time frame, we came back to retest this breakout level, and as you said, it happened incredibly quickly with the wick. Markets like to retest breakout zones. You can see the W here, right? And then the breakout, that's the breakout level. And look how you come back to retest it. You actually retested it twice. And on the shorter time frame, you can see how it comes into the 61.8, the 78.6 level. And even up here, right into where you should be putting your limit orders, right? So use matcher.xyz or 1inch.io and set your limit orders so you can get in at these levels that you want. So as we can see, Hex versus Hedron starting to get very undervalued here. On the daily, we have bullish divergences, although it's not confirmed unless we break above this level down here, right? You can also wait for a W to form on the chart over here, and then take it when we do a breakout of that level. Yeah, but it's starting to lose momentum or starting to gain momentum versus X, right? I'm back. Hans is back. We're back. Yes, we are. Please like, guys, something simple as that encourages content creators to create more. Yeah, do like the video, but only if you enjoy it. I love that the coins are named after the shapes. Icosa Hedron, pronounced Hedron. Yet we get both coins wrong individually. Yeah, a little bit confusing. Icosahedron. Icosahedron. Yeah, so I mean, does Hex top out here, or does Hedron and Icosa rally really hard versus the USD pairs? Or X can dump and these things can just hold to their value. Because Hedron and Icosa both do have a little bit more downside. So that would just mean when Hex eventually tops out, it's going to, I mean, yeah, it all comes back to the same thing. Like after you have a massive run up like this, you need to come down, right? That's healthy sometimes. Yeah, so let's just see how it plays out. At this point, I won't be getting in front of this thing. Because if you were trading with leverage, you would get liquidated. But when this eventually tops out, if this tops out at 7 or 8 cents or 10 cents or 9 cents, I'll just wait in my areas, right? Because I cannot chase. I literally cannot chase the market. I need to wait for it to come back to me. And if I get left behind, I have to put my 5% into something else, or I have I just accumulate. I'll just put that in the pulse chain ecosystem, although I have sacrificed and everything. What is going on the BTC chart? Yeah, let's look at that afterwards. Great to see you. We all love your TA, man. Thanks for the kind words, dude. Let's go down to BTC for you on the shorter time frames. So on the larger time frames, I wanted to come down to the reload zone if I was interested to buy some of this, which I'm frankly not interested at all to buy Bitcoin, but it is leading the market. These are the areas where you should be interested. On BTC, we have a gap. These get filled 96%, 90 to 96% of the time. So we have this little gap here at 20K. So I expect that to happen. And if we lose this 21K over here, if we lose this here, this is going to come down quite a long way. So either we come down and fill this gap. If we break here, we're going to fill this gap and then we're going to come down all the way to 18K. This would be very healthy if the market would retest this level and off we go, right? Was this a 70% rally? We looked at it. Yes, just technically you need a 70% rally after capitulation and then no more than a 50% retrace for it to be a confirmed bottom. And with the macro looking so bearish and inflation coming up again, yeah, the most bullish thing that can happen is we get a pullback into this 18K area. Then we filled the gap. We've then created beautiful market structure. A market structure is just a nice way of saying that you have lower highs, right? We do have a W down here. We talked about this W. Actually, you can see one of my thumbnails a few months ago was this. Like that is a valid W. You see the W, you have your breakout, you have your measured move. That has now played out. Your measured move from the bottom to the top. This has now played out. And what else? We can go down to the shorter time frames. If we put up our divergences, we have divergences everywhere, bearish divergences at the top. If I put up the RSI to just show you guys what it means, is you have higher prices, right? You see here, this line here, prices is going higher, yet indicators, the RSI, the histogram, the stochastic, the momentum indicator, all of them are showing divergences. Looks a lot like HEX, right? All of these indicators at the top making higher prices. Yes, prices going lower. This is called trend exhaustion. Like the trend is starting to get tired, right? If a trend could get tired, doesn't mean it can't go higher. It's just showing consolidation, sideways consolidation for a long time can reset these indicators, or you need a dump. Yeah, so trend exhaustion, we do have a gap. Value is not up here, value is down here. If you never get it, then that's just one of those things. Let's go to the 4 hourly. We do have higher lows. It's probably not the right place to look at it. If you guys can see the little W here, the chart shifted just as I drew that. This technically has broken out, this W, so this measured move for BTC. But what happened is this was a little fake out. You see this candle literally reversed in the last 4 hours. It wanted to break out, but then came all the way down. If we are to finish close a candle above the 2,300,889, you've got a measured move all the way to 25,000. This will give all of the altcoins lots of legs to run. This will bring us right into, yeah, do leave coins if you want me to take a look at them, right back into this resistance. So either we get this move up here to 25k and get rejected. I hope you don't hear that snoring, because it's something to be behold. And then we get it down. Or this fails and we continue to the downside. Both of these are actually quite bearish. Let's see if we have divergences here. Yeah, and we'll not go down to the lower time frames. Let's just, on that note, quickly look at the dollar index, because this moves the opposite of Bitcoin. Now, this has broken down here. It does look like it has more room to go to the downside, which would give BTC a little bit more legs to run. And yeah, consequently, all of the altcoins will have a little bit of reprieve to continue their rally. It's probably mean that we break out of these levels for HEX. Yeah, so you want a candle close above 23,889. This was a little bit of a fake out that just ran all of these people's short stop losses up here. Okay, so that's BTC for you. Wait for the coin, the market to come to you, or buy a lagging coin like Desi. We should probably look at those ratios. So this is the 2-year. We'll just go through them pretty quickly. Look at them priced versus X. So base right at value, so it's parity. Trio. So this is the 3-year, just above premium at 1.04. Parity is at 1 over here, so slightly above parity. So base trio, is it lucky then? Lucky is 7 years. So below premium, so on a discount, parity is up here at 1. Lucky 7 years, Desi is 10 years. Very below average, eh? Huh. This has never been to... Oh, wait. Beautiful little W down here. I mean, this is probably at its lowest right now. Let's look at the RSI. Maybe we can see some divergences. So you did have bullish divergences down here. Indicator going higher, yet the price is going lower. This is your warning that it's time to look at this. You now have a valid W, so this would be a long when you break out of this 81, close a daily candle above this level. Although this isn't the prettiest W, because on the line chart this is actually lower than this previous one here. See that? It's lower. But the indicator was oversold. This is where you should have been interested, and you're still below that level. Yeah, so this isn't a bad trade. You might never get to the sell off on a double up here, but it's definitely at a discount. It just depends on if you want to hold a 10-year stake. And then Maxi. So this is at a premium. Still at a premium. Going lower though. It's been in a significant downtrend for quite a while. Let's see. Parity is at 1%. Let's look at what the indicators are telling us. This is really weird. I mean, strong bullish divergences all the way from back here. This is probably a deal right here. Not gonna lie. We are starting to create this good market structure. As you can see, these W's quite aggressive. Not only on the wicks, but on the line chart as well. You can see W, larger W, smaller W inside of the W. Large buying volume coming in here. Can you stake Maxi? So this is the RSI versus, I mean, this has as bearish divergence as HEX has, right? You can see the last time we were that oversold was this high back here. See down here, the RSI. Now we've peaked on the RSI back here already, so that means these are all bearish divergences, right? All the way up. But this can still go down on, actually this bearish divergence has now been cancelled. So this can still go down in USD value, USD price, but gain value versus HEX. Now this is what the ratio is interesting. When HEX is going down, the ratio is increasing of DESI. So DESI getting more valuable versus HEX. But when the price of HEX goes up aggressively, DESI loses some of its premium. That's exactly how the market works. People get more optimistic on the top side when it's overextended like this. Yeah, interesting. So of all of those, Maxi might just go back to being very expensive after the consolidation. So that's very interesting. I mean, let me just pull up my Fibonacci tool here. I mean, this is very, very valuable down here. You can see where value, where this starts getting valuable, right? Between 1.26 and 1.3. We're starting to bottom out here. I mean, you guys know, like, this is where the granny investor is interested. She's interested in the green box. Now we're already below it. This is just the longer term, right? You can obviously go down and pull up. Just came down to the 61.8. So if there was ever a time, it has actually dipped below. Now, so this is a new low. I mean, if this is to survive, and which I believe it probably will, this, eh, I don't like this wick though, to the downside. But technically, this looks beautiful here. It does have these major wicks, like people that just exit. I mean, definitely having like 1 or 5% of your portfolio in DESI. If you were ever going to do that, this is probably the time to do it. Okay, I wanted to get to PP and all of these other things as well, because Somi is pumping this shit out of this thing. But let's do our full analysis, right? I told you guys when we were in this area that I was waiting for the 61.8 and we never came back to test the reload zone. Not even since the bottom. And I mean, this was a very hard bottom to predict. This was a V bottom, right? Just literally came down. If you're not looking at the wicks, right? This major wick up here, although this is a valid W down here, it's not the prettiest because you can't see it on the line chart. You see the W over here? You had your breakout, right? And you could have been waiting here with your reload zone all the way down. Look at all these highs. It never came back to retest the 61.8. Almost came down in this, but then Somi started being public and off you went, right? So what do I always tell you guys? This is the nosebleed section. It doesn't mean it can't go any higher. We've seen that when the RSI is above here, there's no bearish divergences from here to here, so it has been cancelled. But at the end of the day, this is the highest the RSI has ever been on this coin. This was the initial sell-off. You were pretty much break even with the sacrificers up here somewhere, I think. Let's do a volume analysis on top of that. You can see where most of the value has been traded, literally in this range. So do not be surprised if this comes all the way back down to the 5,000 area. This is the area where you should be interested. Like this whole box down here. You can start dollar cost averaging, nibbling a percentage here at the 61.8, another percentage here at the 78.6 level. Now, Somi himself, if you listen to him, he tells people proper risk management, right? Now, risk management is how much of your overall portfolio are you going to put in one single coin, right? The granny investor never invests more than 5% of her overall portfolio on any which coin, right? So that would mean if this goes to zero, she will only lose 5% of her overall portfolio and not get wrecked. That is the most important thing in crypto, is to not get wrecked, to be able to come back next cycle and play it again. So 5% is a lot to put in a single coin. So he specifically said that 10% of your portfolio should be allocated to memes. Now, under the meme category, there's Dogecoin, Shiba, all of the Inu coins, right? And PP being one of the meme coins, should be split in that 10%, that small 10% window. So we're talking about 5% to 10 to 1% to single figures, right? 2%, maybe 3% of your overall portfolio on this coin, right? And then holding or whatever your plan is to take profits into the future. So this is not where value is at. I mean, this can still go to the upside. That's fine. I'll just readjust my my fib tool. But this just gets you into knowing where value is at. There's absolutely no market structure here. Most of your structure is in this area down here. This is structure is where price moved, right? So this is a little bit of a fair value gap. It can move through these levels just as quickly as it moved up. So I'm interested in this 450 level. This is versus Ethereum, right? This isn't even the USDC pair. Let's just see what the highest liquidity pair is versus wrapped ETH. Yeah, it's this one. So let's just look at it versus USDC. Yeah, so you can see this is what I'm looking at here. Look at this dump down here. Oh no. This is not good. Anyway, let's just try and forget what happened there. Why on the USDC pair did it have a wick? Because actually someone sold it down here. Ouch. Yeah, so I'm telling you guys where I'm interested. Yeah, you can see where the volume was traded. All of the zeros 435. And this is probably sitting right at the 78.6 level. Let me delete the first one. So yeah, you've missed the boat. You now have to wait for this boat to come back to your harbor. And these are the areas where I would be interested. Where I am interested. I'm going to put in a few percentage point of my portfolio in this. And I'm going to wait patiently for this to come back to value. This is the nosebleed section. This is where value is at. And if it keeps on going, I just have to unfortunately let this thing go. I am in crypto to look for cheap prices, and this is not cheap. This is expensive up here. And the RSI and everything else tells me that that is just the way it is. No bullish divergences, which means that these indicators are going higher with the price, but we do have bearish divergences on the stochastic RSI, and you can go and look at a few other charts, but they're going to bring this back. Eventually, it might take a little bit of time. When everybody forgets about it and isn't talking about it again, this is when we will be interested. Okay, I mean, we can look at PP versus Hex for you guys. I don't know if you want to do that. This would probably be quite interesting. Let's see what pairs it trades against. Here it is. Only 30k liquidity. I mean, the vast majority of this pool is selling PP. 28k is selling. No. Okay. I'm confused. But either way, it doesn't matter. This is a V bottom down here. On the daily even, market does not like V bottoms. This has run away from you. The only thing you can do is sit inside of the reload zone. Now this is Hex versus PP. PP is a little bit overvalued versus Hex here. So this needs to come down. Doesn't have to come down, but believe you me that it does. It can't stay up here forever. Let's see where most of the volume has been traded on this coin up here. That's very interesting. I'm thirsty. Okay, let's look at the other coins that you want me to take a look at. What is Pepe coin doing? There you go. Have you caught any Axis alive? He's been killing it, and we've been away. Still missed on your spot stuff though. I actually did a stream with him. I was the was it the second stream that he was doing? Yeah, so you can go on his channel and you'll see me over there. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Axis. You wanted to look at AGIX. Now, I know this is one of the coins that actually popped off, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to tell you the same thing, is that it's overvalued. It is, you can't chase it up here. Let's look at Binance, probably has most of the value. This is a log scale, and we'll do the same analysis as we've done with Hex, right? Now, the difference here is, well, firstly, you've broken the downtrend, right? The first week over here, so this was the first trend line. This has been broken. The second one here has been broken, and the third one as well. So you've definitely broken the downtrend. We can look at the exponential 13 moving average. This is the green one, the faster moving one, and then the 30 MA, which is the weekly as well. This has crossed bullish back here at 4.7 cents already, telling you that it's time to get interested in this. What do you guys see down here? Remember, the next thing we look for is W's on the chart. I'm going to remove. Now, firstly, you have a bottom, you have a high, and you have a retest of that bottom. You can see that W over here. Let me just remove the magnet, draw that again. You've got a low, you've got a high, and you've got a retest of that low, of the first low back here. This is a massive W. You can see that massive W on the chart, and it has broken out. This is called perfect market structure. This is what you want to see in these coins. You want your low, you want your high, and you want your lower low to be defended. This is perfect market structure. And I can pull up the horizontal line with a magnet to show you that this was in fact a higher low, if you couldn't see it already. Now, if we put on the candle charts, those are still true over here. Now, we do have a little bit higher wicks. It's fine. You can just pull off the W of the wicks as well. And when you get the breakout, whatever. On top of that, you've got smaller W's on the chart as well. You've got a W over here. You've got a small W over here. You've got a larger one over here. A larger one over here. And then a smaller one inside of that larger one. All of them with higher lows. Those are all valid charts. And then you can just see what happens afterwards. If you have beautiful market structure, you get a massive explosion like that, right? But at the end of the day, value was down here. It gave you ample chance to get in, right? To tell you that something was up. And if I put up the indicators, I'm pretty sure it's going to show bullish divergences at the bottom here. It actually didn't. Let's just look at the RSI. Oh, it did have one bullish divergence, the CCI, hidden bullish divergence. Let's look at the on balance volume. So lots of volume coming into this coin down here already. Okay. So lots of people interested in it, and there you go. This is not where value is at anymore, right? Now, where is value is at, we need to pull up our Fibonacci tool. And these are our levels to be interested. If we do a volume analysis, most of the volume was traded down here. So do not be surprised if this coin comes all the way down to test its breakout level. Like literally, it might not look like it now, but this is probably going to come down all the way to 6 cents. It's actually made a new high. This was all the AI narrative. Yeah, you've missed this boat completely. This is probably the only move it's going to do this cycle. It's going to take a long time for this to reset. Yeah, and if you're interested in this coin, you need to wait for the 27 cents, then 16 cents, you can put in another bet, and then at 10 cents, another bet, and then the last percentage at 6%. So yeah. Communists. Let's look at communists for you guys. Let's remove everything. The indicators don't work on this chart. So our low was back here. Yeah, let's just use the line chart as it's very illiquid. If you're interested to get this is pretty much the only analysis I can do. We haven't broken out yet. 1112. This is where you should be interested in here. Laddering down your positions. This is technically a V bottom. So don't be surprised if we come retest these levels, then break out. This could have already been a valid retest, but it's a little bit deep. You would have wanted to stop at the 382. This is called the pump chaser zone. We're above it now at support. Yeah, so there's still time to accumulate this. It's just a little bit too expensive up here. Probably have to wait for the 61.8 if I want to get some more. But this is healthy. There was a lots of supply that was released. Let's just move sideways for a while. The most important thing is you still just want to have these higher lows. So these lows down here need to be defended, and the longer we move sideways, the more aggressive the move to the upside. How is a coin connected to AI? Sorry that I said it like that. What I meant is it's part of the AI narrative, right? We know that the AI coins exploded because of ChatGPT going live. And it's under the category of the AI narrative. So you see the AI and AGI. So the AI narrative pumped it, and this was probably the ones that had. So I don't know what the fundamentals is. I just know it's under the category of the AI coins. And that's why it pumped. But not only that, even if you didn't look at the AI narrative, that coin did have good market structure, right? Like you guys have probably heard this 1,000 times before. W's, you have your blow off top and you come down and you defend your high. You have your blow off top and you come down and you defend your high. Or your low, you defend your low, excuse me. This is good market structure, right? So, I mean, this is where we're at with Hex, right? We have a V bottom on Hex. We now have a good rally. And then this just comes down. Now, these spikes is your warning, the market telling you it's time to start looking at this coin, right? Okay, then we go and we pull up our Fibonacci extension rule. We're like, okay, when this comes back into my reload zone, I am going to get in this coin. And it comes down to 5.7 cents, and you put in your first percentage in this coin. Maybe you put a little bit more at the 78.6 level and maybe a little bit more. Okay, at the 4 cent area. Never more than 5% in this coin. So you only have 3% in now. It rallies from 4 cents all the way to 7, so no double yet. And here it goes, boom, pops off. Gives all of your orders. This order is in a double, this one is in a double, this one is in a double, and you can sell half of it, right? Each order has automatically gone off and you sell half on a double. Now you have a free position in this coin, right? And you're like, okay, we've already popped off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the reload zone to get more. To double up on that position. Because you've now sold 3 orders and you've got money sitting on the sideline. It comes all the way back into your 61.8 level. So now at 3 cents, I put that half that I bought back in. And then a little bit more at the 78.6 level and a little bit more at the 88.6 level. Now you're fully allocated back in this coin, and you've got pretty much 6% of your overall portfolio now in this coin. And not only that, you've got free positions running in it. And then you sit underwater for quite a while. This low never gets broken, and this is the weekly candles. Never gets broken. This is incredibly bullish. But you're sitting underwater. The little old lady does not mind because she sits on her orders for a long time. And boom, off you go. Selling doubles on these initial investments, on these new ones that you got here, and all the way up. And now we've topped out, right? And now you've got lots of doubles that you've sold. And now you're just sitting, if you want to get back in this coin, you've got free positions because you've only sold off on a double and there's orders up here. And it gets a little bit complicated, I know, but you get the gist of it. At the end of the day is, before there was any AI narrative, we could see that this coin is creating good market structure. Not only have we broken the lows, we are down significantly from the top. Down 95%, right? And you're creating higher lows. So that's the market telling you someone is defending the price up below here. Then you can pull up your indicators, your on balance volume. This is just a measurement of the volume. Buying volume subtracted from selling volume on literally a line graph. You can see people are buying this up. You're like, okay, why is this continuing up and we're moving sideways, right? Then you have that massive expansion to the upside eventually. I bought into this coin and now I'm not sure what to do. I mean, if you chased this, there's nothing you can do except for to sit on your hands. Right? Hopefully you didn't overexpose yourself. Because I mean, can it continue to the upside? Yes, of course it can. Let's see if there are bearish divergences. I mean, there's bearish divergences from back here. Yeah, all you can do is just, yeah, you're in your position now. This Market still has a few. We're literally at the start of the accumulation phase. So can this go higher? I'm pretty sure it can, but this is not valuable. There are lots of coins that still hasn't bottomed really. I mean, if we look at Hex, strictly speaking, we're still literally in this area with X, right? We can still come down because we need to create these higher lows at the bottom here. We haven't done that at all. But to be fair with Hex, we do have this small little W on the bottom for Hex. If we just look on the weekly, we do have this cute little W down here. But this little W was enough to push us all the way up to almost 8 cents, right? And if this is a valid W, so this area will hold. Now, if you had you see this weak little W here, this was actually lower. So instead of making a higher low, the first one, it went lower to, let me just get to that perfectly. So this opened at 3.42, and this was 3.3. So this closed lower. And what happened with a weak W like that? You don't only come back to retest the high, you actually fall down below this weak W. Because the defenders, the buyers back here who created this low didn't have enough capital to defend this low. So there you go, you came all the way back. And now we have created a valid W. This means that not only will the buyers defend their price below, they'll defend it higher. And I know this looks scary, like 2.6 cents. But this would still be healthy if we come down and retest this breakout level, create higher lows. Still be bullish. Unless you start breaking these lower levels, then you should be scared. You can even do that on a line chart. So yeah, that is why we say we don't chase up here, because you can come down to retest at these lower levels, right? And imagine you FOMOing in here. It's a long way down. You're probably going to capitulate by the time it comes down here, or even down here. I bought into Neural AI. Let's see what that is. Yeah, do spit out a few coins if you want me, guys. If you want me to take a look at it. Neural AI. Let's take a look at it. So it's a new coin. Ouch. So this looks like a reflection token because it's launched on V2. It just simply went with that AI narrative. You can quickly look here on this transaction if some of it, yeah. You see some of this buy order was routed to someone else. Huh. Yeah, so it probably is a reflection token. I mean, hopefully you didn't risk too much in this. This is why you want a coin that has had a blow off top, right, and is now consolidating. This is not going to get you into spanking new coins, right? This will get you into a value product. that you can sell off on a doubles on. Yeah, let's look at the AGIX. What's the liquidity on this? Still 89k. And it's sitting on both sides. Yeah, so you do have a risk of getting rug pulled. No RSI printed yet. I mean, it's either bottoming here or, you know what, just sit on this position and sell off when it doubles. That is probably the only thing you can do. And if you've risked more than you're willing to lose, then I don't know what to tell you. So I can't give you financial advice, right? Let's look at AGX's RSI for you. It's probably going to show a lot of bearish divergences. So let's just put on the line chart. Yeah. So you have bearish divergence forming, price going higher, yet the indicators are going lower. So it hasn't been confirmed yet. For this to be confirmed, it needs to break below this level over here. It can take a while, so it would look something like this. Right, that is confirmed bearish divergence. And this will probably look something like definitely not valuable up here. You've missed this completely. It's best to just let it go. And if you're interested, you need to wait patiently for it to come down to these levels down here. Yeah, cheap, but that's where you want to get it. Not up here. Doesn't mean it can't go any higher. I mean, it's broken its highs already. Do you really want... Anyway. To be fair, it is new. Yeah, I mean, this can still turn around. Right? That this can still turn around. It's got good liquidity. You just need to do your research. Let's look at some of the fundamentals for you. Look at the contract. Is it a reflection token? Does it have a tax on it? Oh, you can always speculate on those things. Yeah, but you need to be able to manage your risk, right? So that means not putting in more than 1%. I mean, something like that doesn't deserve more than 0.5%. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a reflection token. So yeah. This could have been a bottom down here. But no market structure yet. Even on the daily or 4-hour, you want to start seeing your higher lows come in, right? So yeah. What else? What else should we cover, guys? I mean, I've got this massive list of altcoins on KuCoin that I'm going through that I want to start getting into. Because yeah, let's do some analysis. This coin has now broken out, DYDX. I wanted to take a trade on this. Just to show you guys what I mean, right? Coin broken down trends, right? This is a decentralized exchange. They did an airdrop last year. that I actually got. Sold it instantly for Hex, as I always do. But now is the time to start diversifying in these things. Remember, my vast majority, 95% of your coins should be in cold storage, either Bitcoin or Ethereum. In my case, it's Hex because it is decentralized and I've come to trust it. I've done my fundamental analysis. So we've broken down trends. The next thing you want is you want W's on this side of the downtrend, right? And we do have that. You see these large W's on the chart? And these are higher lows. We can zoom in the chart and see that these are higher lows. The lows has been defended. And then pretty much you can start looking to get into this coin. Now it hasn't really gotten you a chance to get in except if you pulled your fib up here and got into these levels. Or you can go long on this when you break above the W over here, and we've now done that. This would be the trade, right? I'm just measuring out the measured move. There to there. Yeah, and this is if you're going to trade, there's a stop loss down there, a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Measured move is all the way up at 4.5 cents. Now this is already broken out, so you've missed this trade. This is not where value is at. So wherever this stops out and you're still interested in getting into DYDX or whatever, let's say it tops out up there, you pull your fib tool from the bottom to the top, and these are your reload levels. This is where you'd be interested. 1%, another percent, another percent, etc. What do you think of the Sketchers dollar cost average chart algorithm? I used to use it when we just signed up on emails. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna dollar cost average every time you get the signal, I'm sure it works, right? But I don't dollar cost average. I buy at fib levels, so it really doesn't have a use for me. It's probably gonna go up in value. The NFT. So yeah, why is Hex pumping? We had bullish divergences on the weekly for months, all the way from back here. And if you want a narrative, buy the rumor, sell the news event on testnet v3. But at the end of the day, we were saying about bullish divergences months before any speculation of v3 launch. So you can either believe fundamentals or the chart has been telling you that this has been very cheap for a very long time. And not only that, you had bullish divergences on balance volume. This is very powerful. You see price going lower, yet more volume is coming into the chart. But I am quite impressed with this massive pump. But if you are FOMOing now, it's not value. It's such so hard to say it's not valuable up here. but it's very valuable if you measure it from the upside, right? Still down 85%. I mean, I know this is an ugly W because it's lower here, right? But this is a breakout of the W. I can't do a measured move because I don't even look at charts that look like this. It technically did give you time to get in with this little W here, but the only way you could have really played it is if you bought the breakout level. Yeah. And we do have price going higher, right? But the volume is not as high as it was back here. So this is bearish divergence on the weekly. And remember, this took very long to play out. Something like this can take just as long to play out. Half your viewers are Australian, yeah. Very impressive, and there's nothing Richard ought to say. Not yes, pulse 3 must be pressure tested, yeah. Have you done a video on buying and selling on your fib levels? No, I don't think so, but I always talk about it, right? I'm watering every day, thanks. Trouble now, got no cash till the end of the month. When will Pulse go public, anyone? Give it at least a month after the version 3 of testnet has launched. At least a month. Maybe 2. There's still a lot of time for it to be launched timely, I should say. Yeah, thanks for the sub, dude. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Definitely. So if it's going to take that much time, we wait for the... we have seen in the past the buy the rumor, sell the news events on the Pulse X sacrifice, on the Pulse Chain sacrifice, and the Pulse X sacrifice, right? This was the Pulse X. We can just see the sell-off that happened after that announcement. So when this eventually tops, it's probably going to top when Richard Hart releases version 3, right? Slowly but surely, those that don't know the fundamentals, that you're not actually getting your coins now, the snapshot is not now, then you will see, and as time passes and Richard Hart gets a little bit more silent, you can have this come down. That is probably the best thing to happen for all of these that chased the news, get weak hands and sell out, sell out, sell out. And then we get our our warning that the snapshot might happen, right? I think he needs to do that because the liquidity providers, they offer a lot to the ecosystem. So you need to give them their time to take out of their liquidity pool so they don't get harvested, right? And if then we get a nice pullback into these areas, he announces right 3 weeks away to snapshot, you just see this thing moon. So we're looking for this. Now remember, this doesn't have to top out here. This is very powerful. This can still go to, I mean, 10 cents, wherever, right? And this just moves your buy zones up higher and higher and higher. Right, you need to get these people out before before the snapshot happens. Otherwise, let's say V2 announcement or V3 announcement is up and we just continue going up, right? And Pulse chain goes is live and it's just we continue going up. Now this might not take that long. Let's just go like this. We're going up and we're going up. And all those people that want to get into Pulse chain, Pulse X, they're just using Hex as a vehicle to then swap when we get to the other side. So Pulse chain launches up here. Everybody gets their P-Hex side and they start selling off the coin, right? The P-Hex one won't affect the price here, but these people are going to want to bridge over the value that they have here to go buy into more coins, right? So as soon as the split goes live, we have a bridge. You're going to just see this thing come all the way down here to these levels if we never ever get a pullback until the launch of Pulse Chain. So either you want us to a good push here, maybe a pullback to 50% now, and then a launch. Now this would give you a nice little W up here, right? Or you're gonna blast to the moon now and then come all the way back down, either to retest these lows or make new lows. Yeah. So what I personally would like to see is create market structure now. Top out wherever you have to, come down, get the Pulse chain launch, and off we go. This would be perfect. Paper hands has been flushed out of X and low liquidity on chain. I reckon we hold mid 6 cents. Yeah, definitely possible, but that would mean that we do go a lot higher from here. For it to find its bottom at 6 cents. Maybe like 13. Yeah. So there you have it. Hedron hunts. We quickly looked at Hedron, but we can cover it again. Remove everything. So firstly, the indicators aren't that oversold yet. It can go a little bit lower. We are down from the top. Should probably measure it from there, right? 70%. It is within value. This is the reload zone. This is where your institutional investors will put in a little bit, a small percentage of their, and hold it for 5 years or 3 years. Or they can sell off on a double and rebuy when it pulls down. Never selling your full stack, right? Just what I never liked about this was that you actually never made a good W. Because this most recent W back here wasn't a higher low. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to retest this breakout level at the least. And on the daily chart, I mean, check how low this is, right? So that is very, very bearish. And I don't even like thinking about that. But on the weekly, we do have this W on the weekly. See here. And we actually did come back to retest this breakout level. Like perfectly. Came back to retest it. And we bounced off this area. So we do have a weekly W. So I can't fault you if you would go ahead and get some here. If you want more cheaper, we can do a small term reload zone, and this shows you that you should be interested in this 1700 area. This is only the short term. The weekly RSI is not oversold at all. Can go lower. The daily not oversold at all. Can go lower. So it is kind of not the best place, I would say. But if you're holding for 3 years, nothing wrong with getting some here. But that's the long term. You can sit underwater. I mean, this can come down to the 78.6 level and the 88.6 very easily. Okay, let's look at Hedron versus Hex. Maybe it becomes a little bit clearer. This is the V2 chart. Very oversold versus Hex. We have bullish divergences versus Hex. I've drawn this little W. Maybe we see this W before. But if you were going to swap Hex for Hedron, this is where you should be doing it, not up here when Hedron is this expensive. We've come down a long way on the... Let's look at the weekly chart. This is actually probably... It wasn't the perfect W down here. There's a bigger one that we've now come down to retest. See the big one here. We've now come down to retest it. This is called the Wyckoff check. Hasn't touched it yet. But that is where it... Anyway, this doesn't look pretty, right? But this is where value is at for Hedron versus Hex. It's been a while, but it has finally started happening. Your institutional investors started putting in, and you can see the confluence here with this little... So they're slowly laddering in these positions. No one is talking about this currently. It's not fancy. It's not exciting to be talking about Hedron right now. But that is when you should be interested. The weekly RSI hasn't been this low yet. It's getting close to being oversold. Yeah. So bullish divergences on the daily, incredibly oversold. Yeah. So this is just telling me in my mind, and I'm not telling you guys what to do. This is where I should be interested. I'm pretty sure we've broken down trends. Although you don't have market structure yet. Now, market structure is your W's, right? You might want to wait for this first to tell you that this has bottomed and Hex has run out of steam. It hasn't done that yet, right? It's still making lower lows. So you're technically catching a knife here. Catching a falling knife here. So yeah. So that's what I think. Let's look at Hedron versus Icosa to see which one Icosa versus Hedron. Double bottom here. So Hedron is undervalued versus Icosa. Got real oversold down here. So yeah, with all of that analysis out the way, Hedron is definitely more undervalued than Icosa. Both of them are undervalued versus Hex. This is where you should be interested to be getting those for your Hex. Let's look at Icosa versus Hex. No, this is not in telling you what to do, right? It's funny how the V2 pairs are the larger ones. Starting to flatten out here. Icosa versus Hex. Very oversold. You've starting to show bullish, hidden bullish divergences down here, which means the trend to the downside is starting to get a little bit more. You still don't have daily W's, so a high and a lower low that's been defended, you can take it when it breaks out to this level up here. Off you go. You can sell half on a double. So when you get to 16 hex per Icosa, 16.4, you can sell off of your Icosa for hex, etc. Hex is just pumping to the moon. To the moon. Very sketchy here ahead. Yeah, bought the top t-shirt for cider. V3 could turn into mainnet. It could be. Can it go down to 6 cents in a few weeks? Sorry, joined late. Yeah, in a few weeks, definitely gonna go back to 6 cents. The staking of Hedron for 30-day bags is providing nice yield and compounding opportunity 12 times a year. What is the max staking length? Say I go out and I buy a hell lot of Hedron here and I stake it. See, I want Hedron versus its USDC pair to get a little bit more cheaper. Because it isn't a downtrend. Guess I'm late for the spaceship. Wonder if I can still make a big number of extras if I buy up whatever by the end of the month. Yeah, you can still make a lot of X's. I mean, how far are we still from the 50 cents area? Still down 85%. So that's a 5x to the top. Next level of resistance. $8.6. Wow. No V3 announcement yet. What's going on? Still in bearish divergence. This can actually be Wow. Unless someone is front running, you can stake bags of 1.6 billion Hedron for 30 days. No bigger size, or it's a 90-day stake gains. Okay. Do you still get a copy? Yes, you do. If your Hedron is staked, yes. Icosa on chain liquidity is thin. Its supply needs to grow for LP. So yeah, it's probably if the hex price has run away from you and you want to buy coins on the Pulse chain side, I would probably go with Hedron because the order book is pretty thick. We are well, we're not oversold on the daily. The daily is low, but we're still not as cheap as Hex is, right? In the overall scheme of things. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys. We're still well within the reload zone, right? So this is where your institutions are buying. I mean, they started buying at 20 cents, right? And the 78.6 level, another percentage here and another percentage here at 6 cents. So, I mean, this is still incredibly cheap. But I just don't like chasing the market like this, right? I either have to wait for a pullback or just let this go. And I'm terribly most of my value is parked in this coin, so I shouldn't feel that bad about it. But I swear, even if I had like 1% sitting on the sidelines, I would still feel FOMO because I've been talking about this coin for years now, and literally for a year at the bottom of this market, and to see it go like this, it's bittersweet, right? Sweet because I've got so much staked, and bittersweet because I want to put in a small percentage still that I have liquid. How terrible is that feeling? But at the end of the day, the best thing I would actually do is to let this go, and to not speculate on the Pulse chain launch strategy, because it's gonna get very, very choppy on that day. And if you're not one of the first people to be on the other side of the chain, you might be getting a very big dump in your face, right? So say the Pulse chain announcement, mainnet announcement comes, and he says, right, the snapshot is going to happen in a day's time, right? You're just going to see this price moon. Like everybody that's missed the boat is going to come charging into this. And all of them are going to sell because they want the copy on the other side. I mean, this is another big payday event back here. This is what happened up here. Like everybody that was staked in the AA lobby got a double of all of their coins. But then here, the origin address started going into the adoption amplifier, stacking everything. So everybody thought they're going to get 100% of their coins. What they would have done is they would have gotten their 100% and sold everything on the market. Now they only got 30% and we still got a 90% retracement. So we need the OA to defend the price somehow in Hex with the Pulse chain launch. Now, what can he do? I mean, he can wait, continue pushing out the launch of this, making all of these people drop their investments, right? or actively sell down the price before the launch. There's probably other ways to do it that I'm not thinking about, but but this is still undervalued down here, right? But then you have to have a 3-year horizon, right? If you're gonna chase this bump here. See it for the fact that it's still down 85%. We're still well within where the reload zone where you're allowed to get for the long term. This is the investor's play at these levels. So yeah. But I just can't get it over myself to chase this. And it can keep going. But I need to wait for the market to come back to me. It has what has helped me over the last 6 years, right? And gotten me into this position where, yeah, okay. I think, what's up, Hub? Hans, is the cost of making a Hex HSI the same as making a native T-share? I've been buying HSI T-shares on Icosa auction for 200 each using Hedron. Some of the hold 800 Hex and it's a T-share. Is the cost of making a HSI the same as making... are you talking about gas cost? Because I think the HSI should be slightly more expensive because it is not just the hex, it's a wrapped hex stake, so it's more complex. So if you're talking about end staking value, it is, I think, going to be more expensive to end your hex HSI stake. But it's still a T-share. It's not, doesn't cost more hex, right? So it might cost more gas fees, but that's the only thing that makes it different than a normal. What's up, Micah? Yeah, I mean, I was bullish at the right points, and now there's really no reason for me to be. My job here is done, right? The only thing I can do now is to help you guys maybe not chase this. But I could be wrong in that aspect as well. This gonna, I mean, keep going. I'm just a bit worried about the Pulse chain launch and what it will do to the hex price on Ethereum. Yeah, if I don't do this rule, I'll probably be chasing everything, right? Yeah, and there's so many exciting things coming up. We shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. Are there any other shit coins you guys want me to take a look at? The whales will move liquidity to support new price above. Yeah, liquidity is very, it moves very, very quickly. And that's why I don't really worry too much to analyze it. Generally, I was taught that the market moves to moves to liquidity. Now, Uniswap v3 is a little bit more a new technology, so I don't know how that affects the market. But if someone would have a stop loss, like maybe someone went long on this and they had a stop loss down here and it's a massive order, the market will actually move the price to that area. So if there is a massive area of support or a massive area of liquidity, I would think the same, that the market will move to that area. Sorry, I'm pulling up the chart here while I speak, so. Yes. There's so little liquidity. But what I mean is the fact that there's so much liquidity here at 3.8 cents is that 3.8 cents is like a magnet. That this bunch of liquidity sitting here is like a stop loss or a take profit area. The market moves to these large areas of liquidity. Well, that's what I've been taught about liquidity. Now, liquidity in Uniswap is something new and totally different. So I don't know if that analysis holds any water. But if a large seller would want to unload a lot, they would slowly move the price down to get to these large orders where they can sell quite a lot without moving the price against themselves. So yeah. X equals gold. Yeah. The Icosa hunts. I think we've covered Icosa pretty well. So we can see these being very oversold versus Hex is just being pulled up by X right now because their ratios are so undervalued. It just has to go up with Hex right now because it doesn't want to go lower on those pairs. Pepe, poor plebs. Yeah, not chasing poor pleb over here. I needed to come down. You see, it's so Icosa versus Hex is so low right here, and it's moving sideways now, which means if Hex continues to go up, its USDC price will also go up because it's just literally just holding on to this level and it doesn't want to let go. Poor pleb, we've looked at it, right? I can't chase it up here. I have to wait for it to come down to these areas, right? Getting a little bit of a toppy distribution pattern, but it couldn't actually just be this and just continue again, right? What else are you guys saying? Hans, what price will you wait for it before you buy again? For Hex. Just these levels. So I will ladder in my orders. At 4 cents, I will make my first purchase, and then 2.9 cents. But this is with excess price now. It's running a bit, so if it continues moving, I have to continue moving my fib tool up. So say we top out at 8.6 cents, I'm now going to buy at 4.3 cents and 3.1 cents. And laddering in my position the lower we go. But pretty, this impulse this price impulse tells you that it's time to get to be focused, right? And start getting your orders ready. I mean, if this goes all the way to like pulse chain launches and whatever, I still have to wait for this area to get hit. It's just a good way for them to wait for the market to come to you and not buy the top. Well, I mean, I've been waiting a long time for it to come down now already, so we'll need to see what happens. What to follow to get free airdrops of Hex holding and staking lightweight communist Texas per PLSD? You're gonna have to stake Hex. Make a few wallets, buy like a small amount of Hex and stake it for 15 years. And then wait. Consider that those 15-year stakes as to be like gone, you know. But anyway, I think the best thing to do is just to create a staking ladder for Hex. But you need to be staked. It's a pleasure. Auto Botox. Food for thought. My staked bags of 1.3 million Hedron yields 720 Icosa for 30 days, ending in 2 days. Now I got 700 free Icosa and do anything for another 30 days. Hedron looks sad compared to Hex, and that is where you should be interested, is when it looks this sad. Because if you look at Hex versus Hedron, that chart is absolutely beautiful for a buy. Now, I can't tell you to go buy that, right? Otherwise, you're going to sue me. So you need to make your own decisions. I'm just showing the data to you. But the Hedron yield is obtainable every 30 days. Hex doesn't allow it. Paying the extra into USDC from AUD keeps me poor. The price and the yield of Hedron is pretty tasty. Just subscribe to my channel, bro. I have all the data you need. And I will be live when Pulse Chain goes live. I've been here throughout the bear market, shilling the hell out of this token. So yeah. Probably Crypto Coffee. If you want to stay up to date, he's probably the better one to follow. I think I'm gonna call this stream here. I'm getting tired. I want to go do something else. This Hex price just keeps on going. So yeah, do like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Yes, UFO to go. Dude, I might just go out and get some Hedron, stake half of it, and keep the other half to sell half versus Hex. Because this chart is just telling me $2 million liquidity here on this thing. Look at this ratio. I mean, it's this chart. We don't. The only thing is that we don't have yet, and which would have to keep me a little bit more patient, is we need to see these higher lows. That little W come in, then it's a go, dude. I'm gonna get some Hedron. I'm gonna stake half of it and keep the other half to sell when it doubles versus Hex. So from this level, 2,800, my first double versus Hex is going to be at 5,800 on this green line here. And then we're still inside of the reload zone. Then the next, now I've got a free Hedron position and I've got my Hex out. My next sell is at 5,000, 1,000, let's say 1,160. Yeah. Second double. By then, that stake would most likely be done. And then the next double. And I can sell. Each time I can sell off, right? Back into X, back into X, back into X. 22. Let's say it's 24. So there is your next double versus X, etc., etc. Let's sell off on a double all the way up. But are you telling me that Hedron is going to go away? Do you guys think that that might happen? And this chart just goes to zero. Like, I do not see that happening. So that's literally the only risk you're taking. And then you're not allowed to risk more than 5% of your overall portfolio. So yeah. 2 hours of this stream just to tell you guys that this is the only chart that I'm looking at right now. Hedron versus X. An actual play that I actually might do. But I need to have that little W come in. Yeah, I don't see Hedron going away, right? At least one double. All I need is one double to get a free position in X and get my Hedron out. That's all I need. But that's only if you've missed. See, there's always an opportunity in the market. There's no reason to go and chase X right now. Although it's beautiful and we love it. Yeah, I've got my stakes. Yeah, Pearl, you're probably talking about the Hedron stack. Yeah, so I know this is typically how the market looks. Everybody is FOMOing, want to go into Hex. They've missed Hex, but they're missing all of the other opportunities that's now staring them in the face. But sometimes it's obvious. It's not easy to know where the value is at, right? I mean, you can buy here, and this can still chop you in half. But that is the risk the little old lady is willing to take. Yeah, I've missed X, this last bit that I wanted to put in, and that's just, you have to live with stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, you have that Hedron stake, you're half of it staked, and you're ready to sell off into X. So yeah, with that being said, I will keep you guys updated on these Hedron and Icosa pairs. This is the opportunity currently if you've missed the Hex pump, right? But it might take you a little bit of a while to get this double, but you need to get into your position and then you need to put that sell order in when you've bought it. The more we talk about Hedron, it will pump. I mean, the ecosystem is, it's a derivative of Hex, so we will see what happens. But now is when you will hear all the FOMO, or all the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about this coin. Even Silver the Antidote, which is making money off, he has a Discord group about this. He's talking negatively about this product. Like, because the God Whale removed liquidity in this area, it was holding up the support. Now it just went through. But then again, to the upside again, it's going to move through this area very, very quickly. Dude, it's a pleasure, UFO, to go. I'm glad I can give some insights. Where's Hedron in 2 years? I mean, you can do Fibonacci extensions, and we can see what how. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna look back on this trade and be like, damn. And even if we didn't take it, we're gonna be like, damn, this was really the trade to be. Um, I wanted to do the fib extension to show you where it can be going in the future. At least 300% from here. You've got higher targets. These are definitely valid. So, I mean, you've got lots of upside. Let's just spend a little bit more time moving sideways here. But what I am concerned about is that these indicators aren't really oversold yet. So these can definitely go down lower. Because you should be interested down here. But it doesn't mean it can't outperform the Hex versus Hedron pair. Hex can go down in value, Hedron can go up, Hex can go down with Hedron staying stable. Hedron can outperform it while both of them go higher, etc., etc. So yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you again pretty soon. Yeah, I should be way more consistent